Hello and welcome to Some Climbing News. Boy, do I have a show for you. We've got Bosi doing easy stuff for him in Sintra, a new unofficial speed climbing world record, Katie Lamb sending V15/8B plus in Yosemite, and much more. So sit back, relax, listen to me rant at you for the next, 15 to 20 minutes? I don't know how long this thing is going to be, but don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying these updates from the climbing world. It helps me out a ton, and yeah, let's get into it. And starting us off with a question you might be wondering: how did Evan Howe send Death of Villains 9A plus without the help of a terrible joke he's probably heard a million goddamn times by now? That's how. How is this guy so good at climbing? I will not apologize. But back to the climbing. Many of you might recognize the name Death of Villains, might even recognize the route as the one featured in the controversial Real Rock film of the same name featuring Kai Leitner and Joe Kinder. I have an episode about it. Link up there if you want to know about why Real Rock's film was controversial. But of course, if you'd like to know a little more about the route, Death of Villains climbs the same line as another line in the Hurricane called Life of Villains 9A before going off on a totally different path, eventually connecting with another hard 9A, the Activator. Evan Howe reportedly spent over 27 days projecting Death of Villains, despite having already done Life of Villains. So yeah, tough stuff. If you've already done the beginning of the route and still need 27 days for the rest of it, it's a pretty big effort. But yes, congratulations to Evan for the send, and also best of luck on future endeavors, as the guy has said that he's hoping to head back to Bow Valley in order to give the legendary Fight Club 9A plus some goes. And then we have the new unofficial speed climbing world record. Should I dunk on this? I feel like these people have bad enough, right? They're speed climbers. Saying bad stuff about this side of the sport is like beating a dead horse with like another dead horse while a lame horse that can't walk anymore watches, and like maybe the dead horses you're beating or that other lame horse's family, and he knows he's next, so all he can do is just sit there and... Okay, so that got really fucking dark. That I will apologize for. Jesus, I didn't know I had that in me. Guess that's what speed climbing does to a person. But then again, it is speed climbing, so, you know, it's exactly what happens. But okay, no, if you're into speed climbing, for whatever reason, this is a pretty big deal. Yicheng Zhao of China broke the all-time record this week at just 15 years old when he ran a time of 4.656 seconds, which is just, that's insane, man. People can give speed all the shit they want, but the level of athleticism you need to pull that is undeniable. Now, this was during a competition. However, because it was a youth competition, it apparently is not official. And even worse, the guy is 15, so he's not even old enough to compete in World Cups, which, I mean, honestly, that seems stupid, right? I didn't even realize comps had age restrictions like that. Makes no sense to me, at least. Shouldn't the best compete against the best? Why would age matter in that case? Actually, that does bring up some interesting ideas. Do you think climbing should have limits on age and sex when it comes to comps? In the sense that, like, should there be an open comp format where we can do a mix, anyone can compete? I don't know. It'd be interesting to know how Yanya would do against the guys. I know a lot of people have been asking that forever. What do you think? Back to speed, though. This record, as I said, though unofficial, is actually about a tenth of a second faster than Sam Watson's PR time and previous unofficial record of 4.665 seconds. But yeah, other than all of that, I'd love to know your thoughts on speed climbing. I personally think it'd be more interesting to see a different route every once in a while. Same difficulty, maybe even same holds, but just different set or something to help keep things interesting. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you're a fan, if you're not. Love to know your thoughts. And next, we have Bosi in the news, and it's not surprising, he's got to be talked about. Dude's been on a trip to Sintra, Portugal, where I guess he's just been finding long-standing project after long-standing project and just doing them. Which honestly, like, I started climbing in a place where there aren't that many hard things, so Bosi being in the middle of Sintra and finding 8C boulders is just one of those things that make me go like, yeah, all those hard boulders in Colorado aren't there because of some big coincidence. It's just because strong-ass people live there and have for years. Every crag, I guess that is a coincidence. Every crag in the world probably has 8C and higher potential. You just needed some nerdy dude like Will to rock up to stuff your developers didn't even think was possible and go, yeah, I'll flash that. But anyways, so Will's gotten the FA of El Dorado, an 8A plus, for which he also first ascended a sit start, which he called El Dorado Sit, that adds 4 moves to the already probably wildly hard 2-move 8A+, and for which Will proposed 8C. Kinda cool, but also, I gotta side with whoever commented on Instagram about the name. This thing should have been called The Road to El Dorado. For fuck's sake, Will, man. You let me down, Will. You let me down. Fail. He also did an 8B, or maybe an 8B+, Will doesn't seem super sure about the grade, called Kryptonite, which he said was possibly as hard as the sit to Mito that one 8B+ Shauna Coxey did. Hey, here's a banging wedge video on that, right there. But anyways, congratulations to Will. Well done on adding all that stuff to Sintra. Links in the description down below, as always. And speaking of Mito, the guy that actually got the first ascent of that sit start, Jun Shibanuma, actually just sent Sleepwalker. So there's that lovely coincidence that makes my life transitioning from story to story so much easier. Thank you, Jun. But other than that, I mean, Jun is the 18th ascent, which is just absolutely insane to me. And the guy's ape index is teeny tiny, so it's honestly pretty crazy he managed to do it. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but Sleepwalker was a long-time Nale project before Jimmy Webb came in and snaked the absolute ever-living shit out of the FA. I mean, obviously kidding. As far as I remember, those two are pretty good friends and were actually working on together, but like, you know, short people watching the tall dude do your proj. We know how that feels. And Danny Woods is basically an orangutan, so yeah, they don't really count. Anyway, short T-Rex arms means this was probably actually pretty damn hard for Jun, so it's not surprising that he kept the 8C+ suggestion for the grade. This would be Jun's first 8C+ after he did 5 other 8Cs in the last year, so for anyone that has no idea who this guy is, he's pretty damn strong. Congratulations to Jun. Of course, links to the description to everything down below. Let me know your thoughts on Sleepwalker, actually. Do you think it's getting soft? I'd love to know what you think. And then Katie Lamb in the news for her send of the Rookery AP+/V14 in Yosemite. Now, there is a ton of hype around the likes of Yanya Garnbret and Brooke Ravatu, but it might surprise a few people to know that Katie actually has the hardest women's tick list in the world by like quite a bit too. 3 8C boulders, one of which is box therapy, which you might remember would have made her the first woman to climb 8C+ had the boulder not been downgraded. And as of this episode, 9 8B+/V14 boulders. The Rookery, of course, being her 9th. Now, according to Katie, the Rookery actually took her quite a few sessions, I'm not sure about the exact number, and she feels it was quite a bit harder than other 8B+ boulders. A grade that was initially proposed by Carla Traversi, who did the FA, agreed upon by Aiden Roberts, and now subsequently accepted by Katie herself. Which is funny because, okay, so she's saying it was much harder for the grade, but she didn't upgrade, and yet downgrades happen, which means... Okay, that's it. We need to talk about grades. Fuck it. Alright, so this is partly motivated from remembering the whole controversy from when Brooke downgraded box therapy like a month after Katie sent. People were pissed, saying Brooke had like shat on Katie's accomplishment, which is just, I mean, that's just stupid. But okay, starting from the beginning, we all know grades are subjective, but just how subjective is kind of wild if you really think about it. Like, think about how different a single climb feels literally on a day-to-day range. You get a day with high humidity, good luck. High temps, good luck. Bad skin, fuck off, you're not climbing it. Take a couple of weeks off climbing, going on vacation or something if you can allow yourself that luxury, and you come back and everything feels relatively harder. Train your ass off and shit gets easier. So how can you ever know truly what objective V7 or 7A+ is supposed to be when all the factors in the world, external and even internal, might get a cold, feeling sad because your girlfriend dumped you, bad day at work, I don't know. And all that can affect how hard or easy something feels. It's a range. It's a range, right? That's the only way to think about it. Until you send, and then suddenly there's an expectation to identify. And you're forced into a momentary Schrodinger's cat sort of situation. And that's the thing. Every single climb in the world is gonna feel different every single time you do it. I have boulders I repeat outdoors all the time. Every single time I try them, they feel different. But the grade stays the same. But then climbs also don't stay the same. They evolve over time. When Jimmy Webb sent Sleepwalker, he said he thought it was the hardest boulder in the country. Now it has 18 repeats, and some people think it's because the constant brushing has made the holds bigger and better. It happens. Wouldn't be the first time. Sandstone's pretty fucking soft. So the downgrades have slowly begun to pop up. And look, grades are weird. They're this thing we constantly talk about as being completely subjective, and yet the expectation is for those subjective opinions to somehow form an objective consensus. That's self-contradicting as fuck. But I don't know, it's just weird to me to give them so much damn importance. And I know I have to do that because I'm a climbing news show. My hands are tied, but damn. It's like the freaking Terra Nova situation. Adam says it's 8C+. He's really good at putting himself in weird-ass positions. You've seen him climb. Dude looks like Smeagol. Remember him after he sent Joya? Look how ridiculous silence is and how it shuts everyone else down. But no. So Will Bosi says Terra Nova might be 9A because the moves are tougher for him because they're weird as all hell, and we're suddenly jumping at the chance to change climbing history by calling this thing that Adam cannot stress enough is definitely not 9A as the world's first 9A. And the fuck thing is, Will is right to think Terra Nova could be 9A for him. Just like Adam is right to think Terra Nova is 8C+ too. And that's the key difference. Neither of them are right. Neither of them are wrong. There's just nothing to talk about. But at the same time, we have to. Or I have to. Because the climbing community's got this consensus that grades do matter, even though we constantly say that they don't. Katie becomes the first woman to climb 8C+. Brooke disagrees. Sean disagrees. Then Danny Woods, who did the FA, disagrees. And Drew Rana tells me it probably isn't 8C+, but he's not super sure and everybody loses their fucking minds. Who's right? Who's wrong? The answer is no one. And everyone. But in the climbing community, we need numbers. We didn't know if the first 9A was Burden of Dreams or it was actually Terra Nova. I mean, I don't know. If anything, I hope this rant helps at least someone think about grades as so ridiculously undefinable other than within a huge range. I guess those new gyms with color circuits might actually have a point, because I've hopped on V4s that have felt like V6s outdoors, and 8s that have felt like 5s, and a 6 in font that felt harder than anything I've ever fucking tried in my life. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But back to Katie. Currently the world's strongest female boulderer, at least outdoors anyways. Congratulations to her. Link to her send of the rookery is in the description. I sort of apologize for that rant, but I'd love to know your thoughts on grades and grading. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm wondering if any of you might be interested in more of a long-form, in-depth exploration on that topic. I think it could be interesting to put one out there. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If it's something that'd be interesting, if you'd rather I shut the fuck up and just tell you what's going on in the climbing world instead of giving you all these opinions. But that, of course, was some climbing news. Thank you so much for listening to me shout my opinions at you for a while there. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment with your own thoughts. I'm trying to build a space where everyone can talk about the stuff that's happening in the climbing world, and yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Go climb some stuff.